Hey guys, this is the beginning of the tutorial video for Premiere Pro. And you're just going to follow through, walk through step by step, and you should have pretty good skills by the time you're done. So good luck. Okay guys, in this first section of the video, we are going to show you how to record a clip in QuickTime, then export it in a file format that's easily read by Adobe Premiere. And then lastly, we're going to show you the file structure you want to use so your files stay organized when you're producing your video. Just first thing I need to show you is how to record a video in QuickTime, which is pretty easy. I'm recording this screen capture in QuickTime, so I can't actually walk you all the way through the recordings. But you simply select QuickTime from your menu or your applications menu or in your Spotlight search, and then you launch it. Once it's launched, you go up here and you go to File and you go New Movie Recording. I'm not going to do that now because it would disrupt this thing that I'm recording. Once that's finished, when you have a new movie recording, to get it into Adobe Premiere well, we're going to go ahead and export it as 480p. And you're going to save it in the folder structure, which I'm about to talk about now. Okay. Your folder structure, which I want you to use whenever you have a project, is this. I have a messy desktop, but today I'm going to have you create this Premiere Practice folder, and this folder is going to have in it 3 others. Okay. You're going to create an audio folder, a clips folder, and a graphics folder. Okay. And these files you see here are project folders. What I need you to understand is these files are what Adobe Premiere creates. These files are not movies. These files are, in essence, recipes for a movie. And just like when you make a recipe, all the information about how to make the cake is in this file. But what's not in here are all the ingredients. All the ingredients need to be placed in these files, because part of what's in your recipe for a movie is where the files are. And if you go to export your movie, which is just like baking your cake at the end, and the files aren't where you told it they were, you won't get a cake. Okay, you'll just get a bunch of errors, or you'll get some weird visuals that don't work. So file management is very important. So when you're getting ready to produce a project, create your content, your audio, your movie clips, pull together your pictures, graphics, anything you're going to use, and put it in these folders. And in the next step, when we get into Adobe Premiere, I'll show you how to set it up so it defaults here, so it goes here to find your stuff. So, all right. Okay, so now that we have that done, file set up, movie clip recorded, we're going to move into Premiere and show you how to start a new project and then how to set it up to access those files easily and consistently. And then we're going to place a clip into our timeline in Premiere, add a picture, and then teach you how to do voiceover right in Premiere. Adobe Premiere. You probably had a screen prior that you looked at. If you click New Project or Create, it'll bring you here. This is where you only need to do 2 things. One, give your project a name that is specific to what you're doing so you can find it later. In this case, I'm going to just name it Tutorial. You'll see I've done this a bunch of times, so I've got a bunch of different project names that fit specific things about it for me to find. And then you want to click here, the Browse button. This is going to tell it where you're saving that file. And see, I've got it selected here to my Premiere Practice, and it was defaulted there. That's why these other movie projects automatically saved in here. This folder I'm using for all of these. When you're doing a project, you want to create that folder with the 3 folders inside it for every project, so that all of those things are there, and you can select them and find them easily and not have them lost in a sea of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this folder. Then I'm going to click OK, and we're going to bounce into Adobe Premiere. All right, sorry, I'm working with 2 screens here. It put me on the other one, so let's get this on screen where you can see it. You pop up in this screen right here, which is the Learning Workspace. First thing to know about Premiere is it's incredibly powerful and detailed, so you will be learning a lot. but you can learn it forever, I think. One of the best things to help you out are these workspaces up here. This ribbon at the top, the one that you're on by default when you open up, is learning. Okay, it's got this panel here where you can check out stuff, take tutorials. I don't like to work with that, so I close it, I switch to a different workspace. The one I typically work in is effects, but I also can set up my own custom, which is exactly the way I want it, for WIT 1. But I work in effects or editing quite a bit. We'll be in effects a little bit tomorrow. But the thing that you really need to know is you're always afraid that you mess something up. It's intimidating in a new thing because you're afraid you're going to get lost, screw something up, and you can't get back to where you started. That's what makes these workspaces nice. You see, I closed a panel, I moved this, I resized that. And if I lose something, I close something, and I get lost, I can just go up here to this ribbon under the Learning workspace. I can click the 3 lines, and I can go Reset to Saved Layout, and it takes me back to the beginning. It won't delete any of the work I've done. It just puts the tools in the same structure they were when I started. So if you get disoriented, you can always go back to the beginning and start. Over time, I encourage you to size things the way you want them, use things the way you want them, and then you can go here, okay? You can go up to Window, go to Workspaces, and then save it as a new workspace and create your own workspace like I have WIT 1 there. So that's what the pros do. They make it really, really cozy and arrange it their way. So our task today, I'm going to bounce to this one, so the tutorial panel is going to go away. It just gives me a little more room. Is simple. I'm going to give you a couple tools. Media Browser is how we're going to bring stuff in. And let me get this back to the way it would be when you come to it. We're going to click on Media Browser. You're going to see this over here to the left. And note that the active window's always got the blue outline. That blue outline, it tells you what's active, what tool is active, all of that. So it's a little helpful visual cue in Adobe Premiere. We're going to go to Local Drives. And sometimes you think application menu, it's not the same one. Yours is buried in. You're going to click on Macintosh HD. I always use the drop-down arrow. You're going to go to Users. You're going to find your name, okay? You're going to open that up, and then you're going to get to your desktop where you've created that Premiere Practice folder, and you're going to scroll to that. And then you're going to start to see the work you've put in there. The work that I'm going to draw from in the Premiere Practice folder is in Clips, okay? So when you see a movie, it is going to be something you have to ingest it. Please bring your work in properly. When you click and drag, things don't get converted and ingested properly, and that can lead to file structures. What we want to do here is get this ready to put into our project. It's like getting your ingredients ready to put in your cake. So you click here, and it will bring up, you double click twice actually, because the first click gets you to this little slider preview. You can preview in the thumbnails. Sorry, I'm going to mute that because that's annoying. But you can scrub in the thumbnails, or you can also scrub. I recommend this. Technique is called scrubbing. Okay, you drag this and it quickly takes you through the video and audio if you don't have it muted. And you can see if you've got multiple clips that you recorded because you had a lot of takes and you forgot to delete some, and you want the one that has the bird in it, you can just scrub through and make sure you have the right one. So this is the first step. Very important to know. Let me orient you a little bit. This is your preview window. To your right is what your actual project is right now. It's going to display where your cursor is, and if you play your movie preview, it's going to be in this. It's the work you've done with your changes is going to appear here. Okay, that's what your cake will look like when you bake it. Okay, that's what your movie will look like when you export it. So to get this stuff down in your timeline, which is where all the work comes in, you're going to click and drag. There are 3 ways you can bring stuff in. If I click up on the video itself and drag it down, and I drop, notice I get the plus sign, I drop it into my timeline and everything pops up. It becomes aware. I've got both pieces here. I've got the video on video 1 here. I've got the audio on audio 1. They're together because I brought them in together. That means if I move them around, they're always going to be lined up, okay? It is possible. This is an opportunity, but it can lead to mistakes. It's possible to bring them in separately. I can grab just the video. I'll drop that on video 2. And I can grab just the audio. I'll drop that on audio 2, okay? But if I play this clip, my words are not going to line up because it's not lined up, okay? So when I start this play, these two won't be lined up. So just note that you are able to do that, but best practice is to bring them in together so they're easy to work with and they slide around together and they don't get misaligned, okay? So that's how you bring in, video. So, and now that you know that, the very easy thing to do is bring in a picture. Okay, this is a picture. Same way, we'll double click, we'll bring it in here. And I'm going to click and drag this down here, okay? I'm going to actually put this in another, like to have those different types in different video channels. Because when we get to doing effects, we may overlap these and apply a transition. So apply some effects to one or the other. And it works. It's a little easier to do if it's there. So that's how you drop in a picture. Okay. And then the third thing I need to teach you is how to record some audio. That's pretty simple. I'm going to go down to A2, make sure it's unlocked. Note that you can lock your audio, okay? And then it can't be edited. You see those bars, okay? And you can do the same thing for your video, okay? Like don't mess with this, don't change it, it's done, okay? It'll stay in place and it won't be mess aroundable. So once you've got it the way you want it, not a bad practice to do that. So, but voiceover is really simple. Put your playhead where you want it, okay? I'll cursor, playhead, whichever term you want to use. And then you're going to click this microphone. It's going to give me a 3-second count. It'll bounce back and it'll play up to the time when my audio will start. So this is a picture I put together in Photoshop of a friend as Zoltar. Okay, so that's my audio. You can see that I didn't start talking right away. Always do that if you need to. Give yourself time. Don't feel pressured. The 3 seconds is nice, but if you start late, that's fine, because I can just slide this over if I don't want that silence. And in our next project, we will teach you how to cut, and you can delete the piece that you don't want. All right. So last thing I need to deal with is when I scrub through my preview, my picture looks really jacked up. It's too big. This is full size, it's high resolution, so instead of Zoltar over here, I've got mostly his beard and an incredibly bright yellow shirt. So what you need to do is go to Effect Controls here, and we are going to work on, we're going to find motion. Oh, sorry. Important mistake I just made. I was totally disoriented because none of these made sense to me. None of these made sense to me because I had the audio selected. So it brought up the audio effects that I can change. You have to have it selected in order to apply the effects. So when I click on Zoltar in my timeline, I get a completely different set of tools. So the one I wanted, which is going to be under motion, I'm going to work with scale. Just a tip here, we will be working with these later. This allows keyframes, okay? Keyframes are incredibly powerful, but tricky and confusing for the beginners. So I wouldn't mess with that. Keyframes deal with how much and when and how you apply this over time. So you can apply the same effect to different degrees at different rates throughout the time of your video. So it adds a layer of complexity that is incredibly rich, but confusing for now. So toggle that off, okay. It'll delete your keyframes. We didn't make any, that's fine. So we're gonna use the drop-down arrow. Anytime you see these blue words, if I just hover over the number, I get a scale. I can slide it, and change that number, okay? I can type in a number, or in this case for scale, I can click the drop down arrow and I get a bigger scale, and I can slide this to the left and make Zoltar the size I need him to be so that he appears on screen. Now it's off center because I played with this, okay? So I can go back now and I could type a number. I could say, well, let's try that at 300 and see if that gets it closer to where I want it. It does, but I'm going to just nudge it over manually. So different ways you can alter the effects. So those three things you should be able to do now. You should be able to bring in a movie. Well, first, I guess, access your media browser, get that set up. Then you can bring in a movie, you can bring in a picture, you can record audio, and you can apply, and you can change how the effects are applied.